I have to find it. I have to." The woman's voice trembled as she knelt beside the dumpster behind the abandoned warehouse, her bare hands digging through frozen garbage in the Christmas Eve snow. Her thin coat hung open, her movements frantic and disjointed, as if she'd forgotten the cold entirely. Inside his idling Mercedes, Holden Merrick watched through the windshield, his grip tightening on the steering wheel. He'd taken this route home to avoid holiday traffic, never expecting to witness this scene in the industrial district. "Daddy, what's that lady doing?" 4-year-old Ember pressed her face against the window, her breath fogging the glass. "I don't know, sweetheart." But something stopped him from driving away. Something in the woman's desperate movements, in the way she whispered to herself like a prayer. "Can we help her?" Ember asked, with the innocent certainty of childhood. Holden hesitated. He had a daughter to protect, a world to shield her from. But Ember's small hand was already reaching for the door handle, and he heard his late wife Morgan's voice in his memory. "We help because it's right, not because it's easy." He pulled over. The woman didn't notice them approach. She was pulling items from the trash with shaking hands, examining each one before tossing it aside. Her fingers were raw and bleeding, her face gaunt and pale. When she finally looked up, her eyes were unfocused, distant. "Are you all right?" he asked gently. "The journal. Iris's journal. It's her birthday. I lost it. I threw it away, but I didn't mean to. I wasn't thinking clearly. I haven't been thinking clearly for so long." "What journal?" Ember stepped closer, despite Holden's protective hand. The woman's expression crumbled. "My sister's. She died 3 months ago. 3 months yesterday. And today would have been her 23rd birthday. I had one thing left of her. Just one thing. And I threw it away when I was staying here, back in September. My mind was so foggy I couldn't think straight. I can't remember things. I still can't sometimes. But today I remembered. It's Christmas Eve, and it's her birthday, and I remembered where I lost it." Tears froze on her cheeks. "I've been searching for hours. I can't find it. It's all I have left. Of her. Of Mom and Dad. Of everyone I've lost. And it's gone." Her name was Lennox Hayes. She told them this as she stood there defeated, her words coming in fragments, disjointed but painfully honest. She'd been a pediatric nurse once, had lived with her younger sister Iris, who had Down syndrome. Their parents had died in a house fire when the girls were teenagers, leaving them only each other. For 7 years, Lennox worked double shifts to care for Iris, to give her a life full of joy. Then Iris got pneumonia. Complications arose. She died in the hospital where Lennox worked, in a bed Lennox had walked past 1,000 times. "I stopped being able to function," Lennox said, her voice hollow. "I couldn't sleep, couldn't focus, lost my job, missed rent. Everything I owned fit in my car, and then the car broke down. I ended up here, in this warehouse, with other people who had nowhere to go. And one day when my mind was so foggy I couldn't think straight, I was cleaning out my backpack and I threw away the journal by accident, with the trash." She looked at Holden with eyes that had seen too much loss. "By the time I realized what I'd done, the trash was gone. I searched, but I couldn't find it, and I've been searching ever since, whenever I come back here. Months of searching. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. Maybe I am. My mental health, it's not good. The grief, the stress, sleeping outside, it broke something in me. I forget things, mix up days. But I remembered today, her birthday, Christmas Eve. I had to try again." "You're not crazy," Ember said with certainty. "You're sad. Daddy says sad is different than crazy." Holden's throat tightened. His daughter was right. He understood grief's weight. He'd been carrying it for 2 years, since Morgan died during a routine surgery that went catastrophically wrong. But he had resources, support, a safety net. This woman had lost everything and everyone. Holden watched this stranger stand there in defeat, and something inside him shifted. This wasn't about charity. This was about seeing someone's humanity when the world had rendered them invisible. "When did you last eat?" he asked. 20 minutes later, Lennox sat in a 24-hour diner booth, trying not to devour the food too quickly, while Ember watched with open curiosity. Holden ordered coffee and listened as Lennox's story unfolded in more detail. How quickly stability could collapse, how mental health could deteriorate without support, how the system swallowed people whole. "I'm not looking for handouts," Lennox said quietly. I needed to find the journal. I needed something of her back. But it's gone. Everything's gone. I miss her so much. I miss them all so much." "You're not invisible," Holden heard himself say. "You matter. What happened to you, it could happen to anyone." "Can Lennox come home with us? It's Christmas Eve. Nobody should be alone on Christmas Eve." Holden looked at his daughter, then at this stranger who'd lost everything, and made a decision Morgan would have made without hesitation. "We have a guest room." Lennox stayed one night, then 2, then a week, then longer. Not because Holden insisted, but because Ember asked each evening, "Can Lennox stay?" And because Holden saw someone trying to rebuild from ruins, someone who needed time and space and safety to heal. He connected her with a therapist who specialized in grief and trauma, found her a psychiatrist who could help with her memory and focus. Eventually, he connected her with a former colleague who ran a clinic, who hired her on a probationary basis. He co-signed for a modest apartment with strict repayment terms, a loan, not charity. But more than the practical help, he gave her presence, someone who listened without judgment, someone who saw her when she had disappeared. 3 years later, they met at the same diner every Christmas Eve, Holden, Ember, Lennox, and whoever Lennox had found that year who needed to be seen. Lennox had created her own memorial to Iris, filling a new journal with memories she'd written down, stories she refused to forget. "You taught me that stopping matters, that presence is more important than perfection. You taught me I still existed when I'd forgotten who I was. I lost Iris's words that night, but you helped me find my own voice again." Ember, now 7, looked between them. "Everyone has a story. We just have to stop long enough to hear it." "She's right," Holden agreed. "Because sometimes the people we're meant to meet show up in places we least expect. And if we're brave enough to stop, to see, to stay, we discover that saving someone else is often how we save ourselves. Thank you for stopping that night." "Thank you," Holden replied, "for reminding me what Morgan always knew, that everyone matters, especially when the world says they don't. Because we're all searching for something we've lost, and sometimes the greatest gift is helping someone find it, even if it's just themselves."